the meeting, so please take your allocated seats. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the fourth Finance Ministers and Central Bank Governors meeting. The meeting will begin momentarily, so please take your seats, principals and deputies, and of course, other delegates. If you would please exit the room, you can go to the overflow room on the third floor. Thank you.
As we come near the end of 2022, it's time to take a reflection of how the year is looking. And what a year it has been. The world economy is struggling amid the ongoing pandemic and geopolitical tension. While facing these hurdles, the G20, under Indonesia's presidency, continue to work toward achieving world economic recovery. Throughout the year, 35 main meetings have been organized in the finance track, from working group meetings, deputies meetings, to ministers and central bank governors meetings. Each discussion is conducted to optimize the G20's contribution to make the world a better place. The tagline, "Recover Together, Recover Stronger," becomes more familiar than ever, a necessity after a pandemic and global turmoil. While the struggle is far from over, and the G20 still has a long list of improvements to make, we are getting closer every day to achieve the goals in Indonesia's 6 priority agendas. And it's been a pleasure holding the presidency, playing an active role in this historical moment, working together toward that same goal. It's been a privilege to introduce not only Indonesia's leadership, but also Indonesia's many wonderful qualities. We hope that you've come to appreciate what the country has to offer. Its one-of-a-kind nature, its magnificent culture, as well as the hospitality of its people. Moving forward, Indonesia will always welcome you with open hearts, as well as continue its efforts and contribution to promote world recovery. Thank you for taking part in this journey. Recover together, recover stronger.
I will start. Dear fellow ministers and governors, heads of international organizations, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fourth and this is final meeting of the G20 finance ministers and central bank governors under the Indonesia G20 presidency. I'm truly delighted that so many of you have joined us here in Washington, D.C. It's really good to see you all in person. I would like to extend our gratitude, although Kristalina and President Malpass is not here, but I would like to extend our gratitude and appreciation to the IMF Managing Director Kristalina and President Malpass of the World Bank for their support in hosting this meeting. And for those of you joining us virtually, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you all. We are going to start with dinner, which we are presenting to you all meeting. We meet again as the global economic situation has become more challenging, and I do not think it is an exaggeration to say that the world is. We are now facing increasing and compounding risk, high inflation, weak growth, energy and food insecurities, climate risk, and geopolitical fragmentation. The war in Ukraine continues to exacerbate the global food security and nutrition crisis with high and volatile energy, food, and fertilizer prices, restrictive trade policies, and supply chain disruption. Despite improving global food prices and reopening grain export, food remains beyond reach for many, and the consequences of the pandemic and shock from extreme weather are likely to keep food prices high. Adding to this, fertilizer markets remain volatile. The global energy landscape has also been radically reshaped. The pandemic and the war in Ukraine have sent energy prices soaring, resulting in energy shortages and energy security concerns. Energy price shocks have affected most countries, but developing countries, especially energy importing countries, face the highest burden. We have already seen faster than anticipated global monetary policy tightening, with many advanced and emerging economies raising their interest rate significantly, which create spillover risk across the world. War, surging commodity prices, increased global inflation and interest rates, and tightening liquidity increase the risk of debt distress, not only in low-income countries, but also middle-income and even advanced economies. Most of us are starting from high debt position given the extraordinary measure we took to shield our economies from pandemic. All of us has worsened global inflation and social, all of this risk has worsened global inflation and also threatened social stability, as poor and vulnerable households in particular have experienced a decline in living standards. We have already seen We have already seen faster than anticipated global monetary policy tightening. And this has created a threat also to the very fragile recovery. We can expect that the global situation remain tough in 2022 and could possibly extend into 2023. Kristalina is going to share with us the IMF latest projection. We should not dismiss the possibility of an increased risk of recession. Our objective within Indonesia presidency, which the tagline that you see in many of our bumper, that recover together, recover stronger, remain more relevant than ever. Strong leadership and prompt collective action are needed to protect the livelihood of those who are in danger, while also bringing the world back to strong, sustainable, balanced, and inclusive growth. You are all known from our previous meeting that I truly believe that the G20 is a beacon of hope that can help the world navigate the devastating wave of crisis we are facing. This belief is based on the G20's history of success in responding to the global financial crisis, and more recently, in delivering action during the COVID-19 pandemic. The complex global economic challenges cannot be solved by one country or by group of countries acting alone. It requires collective action from the group that comprise 85% of the world's economy. It needs the group with the most diverse representation to ensure all voices are heard. All countries with systemic global economic influences must be involved in finding the solution. Advanced, middle, and also emerging country. We know that this is not easy given the diverse membership of the G20. We will always have differences in our position, views, and experiences on many important issues. But these differences also allow us to find the best inclusive solution for the entire world. And personally, I truly thank you to all of your support to our presidency, Pak Perry and myself, in really navigating this very difficult and challenging task. The action that we take do affect all nations around the world. It is really up to us to work on behalf of many small vulnerable countries around us and also their citizens. I'm sure you are all aware the world is once again watching us closely. We face high expectation to work together and build bridges, demonstrating its leadership and why the G20 deserves its reputation as the premier forum for international cooperation. Indonesia truly grateful for all your support during our presidency and supporting to the agenda that we've already outlined from the beginning. Indonesia has, as the G20 presidency, had able to navigate the G20 to maintain its full memberships as well as solidity in solving the most critical issue faced by our global economy. Has been achieved through a constructive dialogue based on the spirit of cooperation, collaboration, and consensus. We must come together and must remain steadfast in our commitment to solving the most urgent global economic issue. In our meeting today and tomorrow, we have our last opportunity in 2022 to deliver concrete action. Our last opportunity to continue to demonstrate the spirit of multilateralism, cooperation, collaboration,